There we
Hi,
go.
Bob. Good
Shoshana, how
morning.
are you?
I'm
Good
good.
morning.
How are you?
I'm very good. You know what? It's one of those classic mornings. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware about the one login servers. I'm not sure if this is affecting everyone, but the one login, the single sign-on, is currently actually the servers in North America are down. So one of those fun days. But how's everything over with you guys?
Pretty good on our end.
Good.
Oh, Bob.
I'm ready to kick things off whenever you guys are.
Oh, Bob. They were asking if you could repeat. They didn't hear what you said. What did you say was dope?
Oh, I was just saying it's one of those fun mornings. So the North American one login servers are actually down. I got you on my phone right now because I'm unable to sign on to my single sign-on, which has my um, Outlook, all my SaaS applications, everything I use to operate my day to day. But we're here now, which is a good thing. So let's kick things
Okay,
off.
great. Hi, good morning. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Just give us a few more minutes. We're allowing a few more persons to come in. We will start at 10:10 on the dot. Thank you very much for coming and thank you for your patience.
Okay.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on cybersecurity, fortify your digital defenses. My name is Karen Nelson, and I will be your moderator for the next hour. We're excited to have you join us today for our agenda focuses on rising awareness about cybersecurity risk, educating you on the best practices, and equipping you with practical steps to safeguard your organization. First, I'd like to extend a big thank you to our affiliates, the Jamaica Manufacturing and Exports Association, JMEA, the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, Think and Change powered by Coro, and from Guyana, we have Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GCCI, and the Guyana Manufacturing Services Associated Limited, GMSA, for making this event possible. We are fortunate to have two speakers with us today. I'd like to introduce to you our first speaker, Tashana Perry, a business partner and corporate paralegal at ThinkNChange. Our second speaker will be Bob Vida, who is responsible for managing partner relations for Coro Cybersecurity. Thank you both for joining us today. We know we have participants from various countries joining us today. So please take a moment to share which country you're joining from by typing it in the chat. So I'll give you a minute to go ahead and let me know where you're joining from. Awesome, we have someone here from Guyana. Welcome. Don't be shy, go ahead. Anybody here from Jamaica, the US, or maybe the UK? All right, so let's get into it. Maybe you will jump in at a later time, but definitely this session will be interactive. So before we get started, we'll have a few interactive polls throughout the session. To access the polls, once you are notified about the upcoming one, direct your attention to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, just above the chat section. A pop-up question will appear. Just simply click on it and submit your responses. If you miss the pop-up, no worries. You can access the poll by selecting the activities button, also located at the bottom right-hand corner. It's marked by three icons, a triangle, circle, and square. Once clicked, you can go ahead to see a list of activities. Choose the poll option, and the question will appear for you to answer. So now let's give it a try. So the first poll will be, how confident are you in your organization's current cybersecurity measures? You should see it appear on your screen. Please go ahead and submit your answers. Perfect. I'm seeing two answers so far. Some of you are somewhat confident. All right, well, let's hope that by the end of this session or session later on with one of our representatives from Think and Change powered by Coro, we can get you very confident. So thank you very much for your responses. And we'll revisit some of those responses for those who weren't able to answer before at a later time. Please note that you can ask questions throughout the webinar by using the chat feature, which will be answered in our Q&A section. Now, let's move into our first presentation with Sashana Perry, who will be discussing what is cybersecurity, the latest trends in cybersecurity threats, and how ThinkNChange, powered by Coro, can be the solution. Welcome, Sashana.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. Thank you for joining this webinar, and we hope we will enlighten you on cybersecurity and some threats and how you can navigate those threats. Okay, so today we'll basically be understanding the importance of protecting your businesses or your personal devices in a digital age by fortifying those defenses with cybersecurity. Some key points that we want you to focus on throughout this webinar is that the digital landscape, it never sleeps, and that makes cybersecurity a continuous need 24/7 right around the clock. It also means that cyber threats can happen at any time, requiring vigilance in your protection of your systems. We'll be moving on to understanding a little bit more about cybersecurity. Now, some people may ask, what is cybersecurity? And cybersecurity is basically, in simple layman terms, the protection of your internet connected systems. This may include software, data, digital attacks, or even just your hardware devices, right? And as technology advances, cyber threats become more sophisticated, and these cyber threats are usually carried out by hackers. And as technology evolves, hackers get smarter, which means we as well have to be as smart. And throughout this presentation, we will basically go through some of the threats that are usually seen and how our system will navigate against these threats and protect your devices. So I wanted you guys to be able to resonate and understand. And so I decided to use a famous movie clip, The Beekeeper, that shows a common threat that always happens, and then we'll discuss it some more. So let's watch.
Boss, got something? Yeah? I got one.
One second, just go ahead and start that over so you can see clearly.
Boss, got something? Yeah? I got one. I want it. I need it. United Data Group, good afternoon. This is Boyd. How may I help you?
Boyd. Hello, I just got a message saying that there's a problem with my computer.
Don't you worry. The message you received is from our United Data Group antivirus software. It's part of the software package that you pre-installed on your computer.
I'm sorry, I'm not a computer person. What did you say the name of your product is again?
Records show that you actually have an older version on your account. So what I'm going to need you to do is uninstall that and install the latest version.
I have no idea how to do that. My daughter set up everything for me.
What I would recommend, you take your computer to an IT specialist. However, keep in mind that you will lose all your data since they'll have to replace the hard drive.
I'm pretty remote out here. Everything I have is on the computer.
Okay. There is actually a software package that you can download that would allow me to reinstall remotely.
All right. Tell me what to do.
It's okay. Can you type this? friendlyfriend.net. Spelled just how it sounds.
Okay, I'm there.
and there should be a button on your screen that says install. And you click on that button.
I clicked the button.
So you're about to see some windows open close on your desktop as I reinstall the virus shield for you.
The script, but not so much that you sound like a goddamn robot, all right? She has got 10K checking, life insurance annuity, Roth IRA, teacher's pension, and is a signatory on a $2 million. All right, kids, let the script mining begin.
Ooh, my computer's going crazy.
Totally normal, just do not touch your keyboard. Because of this inconvenience, I'm going to credit back your subscription fees. How about that? I've gone ahead and deposited $500 into the account ending 020.
Oh, that's not my account. That's an account that I manage.
Can you log into that account and verify the transfer, please, Ms. Parker?
Just hold on. Yes, there's a transfer for $50,000.
Set the hook with sympathy.
Ms. Parker, I made a terrible mistake. I was supposed to credit you $500, but I know I got a stuck key here. I'm gonna lose my job here. I got kids.
Oh, I don't want you to get in trouble, but I could wire the amount back. I will need a different password, though. 1 second.
Now, this is the master password for all her accounts. Okay, so the second we get it, we zero out everything.
You know, I think I should call the bank.
You know what? You're probably right. But there goes my job. And there goes all your data.
My kids' pictures are on this computer. Okay. Hello? Hello, you still there? Uh-oh.
All right. Now, let's look at the clip more in detail with some threats that we're seeing. So the first one that we saw was ransomware. So that was the initial block on her screen that was prompting her to do some form of action, right? So usually ransomware attacks, they pop up on your screen and they demand for you to pay money for decryption, right? The next thing that we saw was phishing, and that was the instruction to call. So usually with phishing, you know, the scammers will send you like a fake email to try to steal your personal information or get access to any form of information that you might have on your system. The next threat that we saw was social engineering. So now this guy had a whole page, a whole website that was designed to trick her into believing that it was actually a real website. So this website was used for the attacker to gain access to her account. So just by logging in, putting in your information, just like that, you were manipulated and all your sensitive information was gone. The final threat that we saw from the video was financial fraud, and this was where they took all her money, right? So usually what we would do is a common thing that we all do. We're all guilty of this. Even just our Amazon accounts, we save our card information for easy checkout, right? And so because it's already saved in the system, once an attacker gets onto your software, it easily grabs all that information just because it was already logged into your system, right? And some other common cybersecurity threats would include data breaches, malware, password attack. Now, data breaches is just any unauthorized access to information stored by organization. And then malware is these harmful programs like viruses that can damage your computer. Usually they come when you don't, mainly when you download something from the internet, it's usually embedded within that download, and then automatically your system gets attacked. Then we have password attacks, and this is basically, as the name suggests, is that the hacker will just try to guess your password. And so one best thing to do is to make your password very strong, because what they have is like a system that will guess whatever your password is. And so it's best to use very strong passwords to prevent password attacks. All right, so let's move on. So some cybersecurity strategies that we could use to prevent a situation like what happened to our friend here from the beekeeper is to have proactive monitoring. And as the name suggests, proactive means you continuously monitor and detect and respond to threats in real time. Then we have multi-layered defenses. This includes usage of firewalls, encryptions, antivirus softwares, just so that your defense system can be fortified. Access control, implement strict access controls. You will limit who has access to your information, who has access in your organization to the certain things in your company. You give only access to persons who need that form of access. Right? Then we have employee training. I really want to focus on employee training because we are usually not, I might know the importance of the cybersecurity strategies. Being, maybe I own a company, I know, oh yes, I need to look out for these things, but your administrative staff might not know because, hey, she didn't know anything about cybersecurity. Your accounts team, they might not know. And, I think it's very important that we train our staff or train persons that are in our organization to look out for these cyber threats. That way they can recognize and prevent these cyber threats from happening.
Awesome. That was excellent advice, Shoshana. Now we'd like to hear from you with a quick poll. This time, we'd like to know, which cybersecurity threat do you find most concerning? Go ahead and vote.
So, Shauna, one thing I'll add while we're conducting a poll, and I thought that was a great clip. I actually haven't seen that. I was very intrigued by that. Of course, that is a movie, so it took a lot of dramatic effects. But about 82% of all cyber attacks, it ranges from 80 to 90, depending on the organization that's conducting the study, are typically hosted through some sort of credential stealing or phishing, social engineering attack. So I think a lot of movies take a lot of liberty where it's somebody maybe in a van and they have 1,800 computer screens and they're typing away and going very quickly. When all reality, that is not what happens in most attacks. It's actually more of what the beekeeper just showed us there, where maybe someone prompts you on your screen to give them a call, and then from there they are socially engineering you or guiding you to do what they want. So what had happened when they first had gotten on the phone with him is he had her download a remote monitoring tool, which gave him access to her entire computer screen. Those are things that can happen as well with the malware, where it's not as deliberate, where you might, to your point, download a piece of software from the internet, unbeknownst to you, that had a keylogger in it, and now someone is observing your strokes. So I think that was a really great clip to share, just because that is unfortunately the reality of what most cyber attacks look like, is that somehow, some way, someone is misled, typically through
All
those
right,
social engineering
definitely. I,
attacks.
I totally agree with you, Bob. And we can see from our poll that, most persons are leaning towards phishing, which is, in resonating with what you just said. Yeah, so we're gonna continue with our presentation. And we wanted to look at the role of advanced technologies. And we're in an age where AI is becoming the new thing. And AI is really good when it comes down to advanced technology because AI predicts and detects threats before they can cause harm. And then we can look at cloud security, which is basically protecting your data stored in the cloud through encryption, secure access, or by regular backup. And as you guys would have heard from the beginning of this presentation, is that ThinkNChange Cybersecurity is powered by Coro, and we wanted to let you know that Coro offers this, right? So let's get into ThinkNChange Cybersecurity solution. And you guys might be hearing Coro, 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 and be wondering, what is Coro? So Coro is a cybersecurity that is open 24/7 and your system is on the lock and key, right? Core is a new breed of cybersecurity platform, which has a single platform with a modular system that secures your company. The platform is powered by AI, which solves around 95% of your issues and can be resolved with just one click. Which that basically means is that all the work is basically done for you. You log onto your system, all you have to do is click the word resolve, and that's basically it. It's very easy, very simple, very user-friendly. And all modules shared on this single platform enables them to talk to each other. And we'll get into it a little bit more because we'll be showing you a demo as to how it actually works. So why get Coro? You probably be wondering to yourself. Now, Coro is, as I said before, user-friendly. It enhances your protection. It offers a user-friendly experience, scales your business, provide consistent high-grade security for your businesses, and this makes Coro an excellent choice for safeguarding your digital assets. Now, investing in cybersecurity, you might be saying, hey, that's going to be a lot of money, or hey, I can't afford to pay a cybersecurity analyst. And with Coro, you get all the perks of having to invest in a cybersecurity analyst right at your fingertips in such a way that you yourself can be that cybersecurity analyst and protect your data. So let's look at a demo as to how this works.
Hello, team. Today we will be going over a brief couple-minute demonstration of the Coro platform. As a brief overview, we will get in more depth as the presentation or webinar goes on. But just to highlight, Coro is built around 14 individual modules. The areas that we cover are cloud applications, such as Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, Salesforce, Slack, Dropbox, and Box. The way we connect these environments is over API, so it only requires global admin rights for connections and usually takes about 1 to 2 minutes to connect. Other areas Coro's services include email security, so looking out for everything from phishing, malware containing attachments, potential spam or more time wasting emails, domain spoofing, impersonation, and many more. Additionally, we cover endpoint security, so actually connecting to all Windows, Mac, and servers. Only thing not currently supported is Linux. I believe they cover the majority of operating systems, but as mentioned, compatible with Mac and Windows. Our endpoint security provides next generation antivirus or malware ransomware protection. In addition, device vulnerability scanning. So actually looking out for potential vulnerabilities within a machine, such as an unencrypted endpoint drive. It's something as simple as a password missing. User access control not turned on, for a disabled Wi-Fi, disabled firewall, and so on. In addition to our antivirus and device scanning, we're also looking out for any kind of non-public information or compliance scans. What I mean by this is any kind of non-public information. That can be credit card, personal healthcare information, personal identifiable information, certificates, critical data, passwords, and even gives you the ability to customize any kind of other information you want to be alerted to if it is being shared.
In addition to looking out for non-public information leaving the organization, we also want to understand where it is stored at the endpoint, such as a drive containing a bunch of credit card information. So we'll scan each machine, understand where this NPI or non-public information is stored, and give you the ability through our endpoint to actually force out encryption. Unencrypted endpoint drive, we can click it to here. We'll see the user, machine affected, where it is located, and give you the ability to actually force or encrypt that drive with one click. Please note the encryption key is stored within the Coro platform. We also offer endpoint, oh, pardon me, I touched on that, EDR, endpoint detection and response. This is that behavioral analytics, or the next step within the endpoint evolution. So in the beginning of time, or the first provider, if you would, that comes to mind would be McAfee, some 25, 30 years ago, creating the first antivirus. Antivirus is scanning for known threats, known piece of malware. EDR is that next step in evolution, which is understanding abnormalities once a potential piece of malware is interacting within the environment. But as we know, antivirus has not stopped everything, which we've seen over the years. EDR is that next layer of defense to understand what potentially might have slipped through, but more importantly, providing you the detection and the ability to respond to said threat. Additional modules in the Coro platform include email encryption, so that when we are sharing that non-public information, it can be a 256-bit or military standard encryption level. Additionally, we have our mobile device network modules. Network modules give you the ability to set up a virtual private network. So if, for example, we are operating across multiple different sites, we can encrypt that traffic, have a static IP. Also filtering our web traffic. So with our Cisco Open DNS filtering, we can prevent anyone from going to potential time-wasting sites like Facebook, maybe crypto, more dangerous sites like drugs, abuse, but then also our malware and phishing websites. So we have a list of thousands, hundreds, millions of different URLs blocked for being known phishing sites. An example of this I like to share is if someone redirects you to a Microsoft link, says, hey, please update your password here. Before updating your password, put in your current password so we can assure your identity. Unbeknownst to the user, they are actually submitting their password to a phished or fake URL. And now that password actually, pardon me, that bad guy has your current password. In addition, we have our mobile device manager. This is the ability to actually work with iOS or iPhones and Android devices. That includes iPads, potential tablets, giving us the ability to set specific permissions or allowing blocking applications. We can also do remote wipes. More to come on MDM, and looking forward to cover more of the Coro platform. Back to it.
Okay, perfect. So from that demo video, we can see how just basic information is protected, or just how your system has defense, right? And we wanted you guys to know that for every person who joined this webinar today, we are willing to offer a free consultation and a free 30-day trial, right? All you have to do is scan the QR code and sign up, and we'll reach out to you, set up that appointment date, take you through it, get in depth, in detail, learn more about your organization, and so we can suggest what would best be for you as it relates to your core software. Okay, so I'm going to leave that link there for a couple of minutes so that you guys can scan, maybe a minute, and then we'll move on.
And in the meantime, if it is that you have any questions, you can go ahead and place them in the chat. We will definitely address them in our Q&A session that is coming up shortly.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how much is this going to cost me? Not a lot of bucks, right? So for a single user, for the monthly subscription, it starts as low as $6 per module, or we can give you a package starting at just $18 per user per month. Now, it's important for you guys to know that the system is highly flexible and customizable. What does that mean? Now, if you're not liable to certain attacks, you don't have to pay for that particular module. So we'll only give you the modules that you need, right? And once we get into that consultation, we'll discuss further, we'll get in detail, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. All right. So we're gonna go into another poll.
All right, but with features that are customizable, flexible, and cost-effective, it sounds like an incredible deal. Wouldn't you agree? As Tashana mentioned, we are going to another poll. So here's the question. How likely are you to implement cybersecurity best practices discussed today? You should see that poll pop up. Go ahead and vote.
Okay, so we're seeing from the poll that persons would be very likely, and that's good. That was the aim. We anticipated that throughout the presentation, persons would become more aware and thereafter would want to do the correct thing. So some future trends and predictions of cybersecurity. As I had mentioned earlier, hackers are becoming more advanced, and so we have to be even more advanced than those hackers to be one step ahead, right? And we can see that the predictions is that there will be zero trust security modules, and this is basically saying that threats exist both inside and outside your network, and so security must assume and protect against these threats. Now, there's also predictions that there will be increased use of biometric security, and there's also the role of quantum computing. And quantum computing is basically just the aware and powerful principle of quantum physics, which is like the measurement like atoms, but bits and qubits, right? So we're gonna hand it over to Bob to give us a case study on cybersecurity.
And Shoshana, this is another great thing I'd like to talk about. So I'm not sure if anyone was on the call earlier today, or pardon me, earlier this morning when we first kicked off. But currently, the one login servers are down in North America. So one login is a single sign-on. So that's that multi-factor, if you would, or that kind of barrier, or second guess to access all of your applications. So in 2024, most businesses are operating on Office 365, Google Workspace, applications like Salesforce, Dropbox, and when you don't have access to those tools, similar to what I've experienced right now, it really limits your ability to be effective at your job, in life, or communicate. Really, all encompassing. So I think a great case study to share here might be around. Actually, we got a quick question. Let's see. So, Johnny, can you read that question?
Oh, definitely.
Chance? I believe Tantanana, please just ask the question. Can you pull that up?
So I see a few questions in the chat. Is it the one that just happened? Because we would have gone over all the questions in the Q&A session.
Oh, I don't
okay.
think
Yeah, we can wait together. Pardon me.
So the case, and I think it's a general question.
Gotcha. I'll get back to a case study then. But the point I'm making there is that when you lose access to these tools or resources, it really limits your ability to do much of anything. So I think a good case study to share here might be a ransomware attack. Ransomware attacks can happen a multitude of different ways, but the most frequent one typically is coming over some sort of email. It's typically a malware containing an attachment. It might be a redirection within a web page. So potentially you're on Facebook, scrolling through, someone shares a link, says, "Hey, check out this cool video," whatever it takes to entice an individual to then interact with said link is how these attacks can take place. What ransomware will do, similar to what I'm experiencing, is it'll encrypt or prohibit your access to any of your resources. So this could be data stored on a server. This could be your email. This could be any form of communications, maybe your CRM tool like a Salesforce or a HubSpot, which is storing all of your customer data. What ransomware will do is encrypt all that information so that you cannot access it. And then what said threat actor will do is charge a ransom. So then they will demand an amount of money in order to give you access or to restore you back to your applications. So one example of this might be I receive an email from a known someone I interact with regularly, let's say a business partner, for example. Unfortunately, this business partner was compromised and there is a bad guy in his email. He knows that I'm on his registered list or that we have communicated in the past. He then shares a file with me and says, Bob, please unzip this file, take a look at the information for our upcoming call. Unbeknownst to me, this has ransomware contained in it. All of my information is encrypted. And now to get that encryption or the key password to decrypt, I must now pay a fee. So I think that's a great example to share and something I'm kind of experiencing right now. Fortunately, very, very fortunately, this isn't a cyber attack. It's just a server outage, but it serves as the same thing. Without access to your tools, you're pretty limited to what you can do in the workplace place. Any question there, Shoshana, or anything else I can shed some more light on?
No, not at this time, but I think we'll be going into another poll, and then you could address the responses there.
Okay, so the next poll that will come up on the screen would be, what would be your first response in an event of a cyber attack?
That's right. Okay, so we're seeing that the persons are leaning towards disconnecting from the network. And that's exactly what you should do. First, you should disconnect from the internet or stop further access. Another thing that you could do immediately is to change your password and alert your IT team of the threat. So anything you want to add on that, Bob?
Yeah, so the best thing to do, most importantly, and you're on the money there, don't interact, don't click. If your computer does get bricked, unfortunately, hopefully you have a cell phone, iPad, some other form of technology, but absolutely reach directly out to your IT director. Unfortunately, some of these attacks are even going to be out of the IT director's hand, and that's when it's best to contact a incident response provider. But most importantly, again, just make sure don't interact, don't click, don't communicate, don't pay. Really don't do anything until you contact that IT administrator at your organization and let them take the best practices. A lot of the time involves bringing in an incident response team. So yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the head there.
Perfect. That's what I was thinking as well. So if you want to get connected with us, you can reach out to me at Tashana.Perry at ThinkNChange. Most of you would already have my email because I've been sending you guys crazy emails all week. So you can just reach out to me or you can WhatsApp me at 224-208-5304. So we're just going to leave it right there a minute so you can get a chance to take down the information. And then we want to share some digital content with you as well. So if you're able to, you can go ahead and scan this so you can have some information so you can be more inclined in making your decision. So you can go ahead and do a little bit more reading on what Coro is really all about. And then we'll be concluding at this time, and I'm passing it back over to Carrie-Ann.
All right, I hope you guys have been paying attention and learning some new insights, because that was a beautiful presentation. Thank you. Some of the key takeaways that I saw was there's continuous progress as it relates to cybersecurity. It's always changing. Definitely seeing that ThinkNChange powered by Coro provides that cutting edge solution. As Coro updates, ThinkNChange solutions are also updated to give you what is needed for you. All right, so we are about to jump into our question and answer session. So I would like for you to go ahead. If you have any question, put it in the chat. I do see that there are a couple questions there before. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look. All right, so the first question is from Titania, where she says, can you explain how Coro's cybersecurity platform differs from other solutions on the market?
Bob, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest key differentiator between Coro and other products is going to be ease of use and implementation. So Shoshana touched on it earlier in today's webinar. We're using AI to automate about 95% of all remediation. So really what this does for lean IT teams or IT teams as a whole is give them the time to focus on more business critical IT needs. So rather than needing to man multiple different tools, we've consolidated all cybersecurity needs to one platform, made it very user intuitive so that almost anyone can do it, because why make it more complicated than it needs to be? And then most importantly, we use AI to automate most remediations as well so that teams have time to focus on their more business critical needs.
Thank you so much, Bob. I do see another question here from Titania, and it states, how does Coro solution integrate with existing IT infrastructure and tools?
Great question. So for one thing, at least what we're compatible with as far as cloud applications go would be Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, Salesforce, Dropbox, and Box. Our endpoint agent is compatible with all Android phones, all iPhones or iOS phones, Windows, pardon me, Windows and Mac. So we're compatible with the following. As far as how we would interact with any other softwares you might be hosting, it's going to be non-intrusive unless it's a competing antivirus or EDR. The reason for this is not because we don't like our competitors, but any kind of antivirus, if you have two competing products on a device, they're not going to like each other because they're both going to be deeming the other malicious. So really, we're going to be non-intrusive, except if you're using a different or a competing cybersecurity product.
Awesome, good stuff. All right, we do see another question that says, what kind of reporting and analytics does Coro offer to help us assess our cybersecurity posture?
Great question. So we do provide a 30-day free risk assessment, which will give you in real-time data. So we connect directly to your cloud and endpoints, correlate the log data, and give you any actual threats in real time. So we'll give you a genuine risk assessment where if there's something going wrong, we will let you know in real time. Reporting wise, we have a very comprehensive function. It gets exported by PDF. It'll provide you all triggers, threats that we have triggered upon within that risk assessment, which is very effective for IT teams to actually go to their management for budget when they're able to present real-time findings affecting your organization. And that's been a very effective tool when it comes to actually finding budget for these tools.
Great. Thank you. And I'm seeing that Rayburn has a question as it relates to what about false positives using AI?
Yeah, that's a great question. And false positives are, a possibility for any kind of product. So I will say, for example, let's use our endpoint. If there's any kind of malware, ransomware detected, we have real-time analysts always verifying those findings before taking a remediation. So let's say, for example, we do have a piece of malware that is, somehow uploaded to someone's computer. what we would do is quarantine that malware before it can spread. Then more importantly, have analysts come in real time to verify those findings. Because in fact, it could be a potential false positive. We don't want to slow down your business. We don't want to delete anything we shouldn't. So we actually have real-time checks and balances in place to ensure that it isn't a false positive.
Thank you. Are there any other questions you would like to share with both Shoshana and Bob? Any other questions? Don't be shy. You can go ahead and send it in the chat. So I'll give another minute for anyone else who would like to share a question.
I mean, if you don't have, if you would like to share the question now, as you all have my email address, you can always, if you're a little bit shy, you can always reach out to me by responding to my email and just show me that question. I'll be more than happy to answer you. Right? We could even have a quick 30-minute meet.
All right, I do see another question come in. Can you please go over quickly the modules you talked about? I'm assuming this is going to Bob.
Yeah. So the modules that we currently offer are cloud security, email security, endpoint antivirus, user data governance, which is compliance. So that's looking out for credit cards, healthcare, personal identifiable information being shared outside of your organization. We do compliance scans or endpoint data governance as well to understand where any kind of things where any potentially malicious things might be stored on a machine. We have network, virtual private networks, DNS filtering, mobile device management, EDR, and email encryption. And that's all consolidated into one single dashboard. And most importantly, you can build your stack around yourself. So for example, if you're only needing email security, we can lead with just one module. By no means is this an all or nothing type product.
All right, thank you. So I hope that we've answered all your questions, and thank you so much for your input, everyone. This has truly been a remarkable session, and I'd like to thank both Shoshana Perry and Bob Vida for their insightful presentations and answers today. We've covered some essential points today, from understanding the latest cybersecurity threats to practical strategies you can implement in your organization. Before we close, we do have one final poll for you, and that says, are you interested in a free consultation from us? Do remember that the consultation is completely free of cost, and once you sign up, you receive a free 30-day trial. If you missed out, I do have a QR code that you can scan later on, so you can go ahead and get that consultation as well.
It's important that I also want to add to this consultation and free trial is that there's no obligation. So we're giving this to you so you can see in real time what Coro will do for you, what it will look like, and how it will transform your security, right? So after this month has ended, there's no must buy or must get or anything like that. There's no strings attached. We just want to show you how we can transform you and make your online experience more secure.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our webinar. I do want to say on behalf of myself, our speakers, and our affiliate JMEA, PSOJ, GCCI, GMSA, and ThinkNChange, powered by Coro, I want to thank you all for joining today. We will also be sharing the recording of the webinar session. That will be via your registration email. So whatever email you use to register for this webinar, you will get that information as well. So thank you very much for coming out, and do enjoy a wonderful day and stay safe online.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.